Welcome back, guys. This is Thomas, and we were going to end off 2024 with a Toy Room collection tour. Once again, folks, welcome back. I'm Thomas, and if you are someone who subscribed, commented, watched any of my videos this year, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. It's been really fun, just kind of making new friends, getting more into the hobby by dioramas or action figure conversations, whatever it is. I've just had a ton of fun this year and hoping to continue growing the channel and making new friends and connections. So once again, thank you. So I've wrapped up the last couple of years with a room tour, so at this point I think it's a tradition. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to take you around my 10 by 10 room. Somehow I managed to fit all the new stuff that I've gotten into this room. You know, takes some clever rearranging, but that's part of the therapy of it. I think of us as collectors, you know, it's just getting rid of all the clutter, but somehow fitting it into our displays. And I like to tell stories, so when I'm going through the room, I'll try to add some context, so I'm not just pointing out different figures, but either what that character means to me, what the dioramas meant to me, whatever it is, just to kind of add a little more to the context of the tour. So with that being said, I'm gonna flip the camera around and we're gonna start the tour. So thank you, guys.
Alright, so starting off the tour, we're actually going to start outside of the toy room. And this is where I have my little Christmas display that I just built. So this was in one of my previous videos with the Christmas turtles and that naughty or nice Santa. And then we do have this Mondo Toys Ein that glows in the dark. We have two corgis, so that's pretty cool to have. I wish there was a 1/12 scale version. And now we'll come into the room, and as you can see, it's a pretty small room, but we do happen to fit a lot in here. So I'm going to try to do all the up top stuff first, so I'm not climbing up and down, and then we'll start the tour.
Alright, so we're going to start up top here. I call this my super awesome 90s shelf. You'll see why in a second, but we'll go from left to right. You might recognize that turtle. That was a gift from my cousin. That was a 5-year anniversary of the Turtles. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that probably would have been 94, maybe. In the back there, you see a McFarlane Superpowers Robin, one of my favorites during the 90s. And while that Donatello is not from the 90s, I made that bed with the bed sheets. Thought that was pretty cool. This Banjo and Kazooie from Premium DNA was discounted, so I definitely had to pick it up. Really good figures. I just wish they were scaled more with these Nintendo Jakks Pacifics, Mario and Luigi. I have my Jada Toys Mega Man and Chester Cheeto there. And then all of these arcade cabinets are from Nostalgia Unboxed. Did a really good job with them. I specifically asked for Mrs. Pac-Man and Rampage. Mrs. Pac-Man because my mom is a big fan. She has an arcade in her room, so I'm probably going to build her a diorama. And then Rampage was my favorite to play when we would go to Pizza Hut. So definitely wanted that one. I have Mario and Luigi. They're playing pickleball. I've definitely gotten into it this year. So really cool to find some 1/12 scale pickleball paddles. And then these are awesome. Nacelle Toys, Biker Mice from Mars. Fallen in love with these guys. I'm really excited about what Nacelle's doing. I can't wait to get the Cowboys from Umesa. But then I did pick up the newer versions of Street Sharks, and even though they don't scale with 6-inch figures, it's just kind of cool to have these kind of 90s franchises next to each other. So them with the Cowboys of Mesa, I think will make a pretty cool display. Moving over to another top shelf, I have my, I guess you can say, Jim Henson / Disney shelf. Kind of put this shelf up the other day and was just spreading out some figures. Crazy Harry, one of my favorite Muppets. I didn't know that line existed, but when I found out, I went and got Crazy Harry. He's the one that's always blowing stuff up. And then you have the NECA dinosaurs. I still can't believe we haven't seen anything else from this line. It's kind of annoying. So hopefully this year we'll get more of the family. And then the worst figures in my collection room, these Super 7 Disney figures. They're starting to show up at Ross right now, which is awesome because I paid full price for all of these. And this line will never grow, and even if it did, they were all terrible, so I don't know if I'd buy them anyway. Then that McFarlane Genie. I really would love a new Genie action figure. He's my favorite Disney character, so hopefully someday we'll get a new one. Up top here, I guess you can say is like my premium figure section. And I just put these shelves up. That's why they're a little scarce, but I was just trying to spread things out so not everything was on top of each other. I love this Four Horsemen Jacob Marley. I think he's fantastic with all the chains and the books and the case. I guess there's a secret in there. I've just never opened it. So I should probably do that. It's over a year old. And then these Icon collectibles by Frazetta Girls. Dark Wolf and Tigra, you know, they're really cool to look at. Articulation-wise, they're not the best. But I love that franchise. Well, the movie. I love the movie. I just wish they were articulated a little better. They do look great. And I had this for a while, but I just opened it. I love this Elvira figure. I remember my first impression of Elvira was when I was kind of young, and we had Six Flags in New Jersey. And there was a ride called Mach 3, and it was like a flight simulator. But during Halloween, they would theme it towards like an Elvira Haunted Mansion ride. So I kind of remember that. So pretty iconic for me to have her in the collection. And I do love her movie as well. And then another shelf that I have moved stuff around. This collection has exploded over the last year. Really wasn't collecting McFarlane, but I love the Nightfall storyline, so trying to build that out. But then these movie figures came out, and I absolutely love these. I kind of wish Bane was the Build-A-Figure and Mr. Freeze was just part of the normal roster instead of the Build-A-Figure, but that's okay. Definitely build out some more of my rogues of Batman. So we got Penguin this year, Mr. Freeze, Joker is one of my favorites. And then I think from last year I added that Nightwing, but then also the red and gold Henson Batman. So that one's really cool. And then over here, I have Spawn there just because my first introduction to Spawn was Batman vs. Spawn. But I have Impulse, Aquaman, I have Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern. I mostly wanted those because of the old Kenner Total Justice or JSA line. And then I do love this blue and white Superman. This was the first issue 1 comic book that I went and bought because I thought it would be worth something someday. I still have it. I don't think it's worth anything, but it was still cool to get this figure. I didn't think it would ever be made, so I'm just glad that I have it now. And then my last shelf that's up high that I don't have to keep climbing up and down this ladder. That's why I'm cutting away so much. But this is my Galaxy diorama. This is actually one of the first dioramas I built, and I actually taught myself how to paint that kind of galaxy mural. So I guess I can fancy myself a painter, but there's some characters missing here. I sold a Silver Surfer, and I have my other one, the Galactus box, and I still haven't opened my Galactus because I need to create a space for him. So it's been over a year now. I should probably work on that, but this is really cool. Just has all the cosmic characters on here. So wish we had a new Beta Ray Bill. Looks like he's kind of toppled a little bit, but my Fantastic Four, and I do love that Cosmic Ghost Rider. So pretty cool. Hopefully we can add more to this, but these will probably be moved next year if I do finally make that Galactus diorama. All right, I don't think I have to climb up onto the ladder anymore, which is great. Going over this shelf first, this is kind of a shelf of Marvel Legend Misfits. It's kind of extra X-Men, Mutants, Hall of Armor, and then some random characters I have. Punisher and Jigsaw. I do love those characters. I want a new Punisher. I didn't really like the new one. I kind of want one with some blue cell shading. This one's actually selling for a pretty penny on eBay, so maybe I can get rid of him soon. Zabu, definitely one of my favorite Build-A-Figures of the year. Really cool. And then the last top shelf we have is kind of a mixture of a few things. So we'll start from left to right. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. These are pretty cool. I'm pretty picky and choosy with these, but the Jaguar and the Hyena are the new ones from this year. I have them on my Ruins display, and this is just a fun line. I don't like the apes all too much because it's too similar to Planet of the Apes, but when you start coming out with these other animals, oh yeah, I love those guys. So they're really cool. Then probably one of 3 of my most favorite dioramas that I've built is this Toys R Us. This is just supposed to be a celebration of all toys. So things that were my favorite back when I was a kid, video games, and I have Matt Cardona on there twice because he is a toy lover. I just posted a video of these mini boxes that I bought on Etsy, and that one seems to be pretty popular. So go check out Manzo's Minis on Etsy. He has a really cool shop. Pretty neat stuff. So Crash Bandicoot was one of my favorite video games. Man Cake, probably my favorite year of 2022. Never played Fortnite, just a really cool figure. Cowboy, bandolier of butter. I love the pancakes on the bayonet. Know nothing about him, just really cool. Tim Drake Robin, we've already seen him once on that top shelf and then once on the McFarlane shelf. He's my favorite Robin. Have to have representation there. And then just having an extra Wolverine there because I did love the old Toy Biz 90s line when I was a kid. And then you do have that Castle Grayskull. Moving over is the Adventure Series Indiana Jones line. I love this line. I really didn't think how far they could go with it. I think where they kind of messed up was not making any generic soldiers or guards. I get why. They probably didn't want to do it. But I think they could have found ways around it where you didn't have to put any, offensive imagery on things, but you could have still given us like the airplane mechanic, some townspeople in Egypt, and even some of the German soldiers without putting any of the imagery on. I think they could have done it, but I understand. I don't think people were in or too excited to buy a bunch of figures with suits, and how many indies can you have? So I already have 2, but I'm happy with the figures I have. I want Sean Connery and the Knight, maybe, if I was going to add to this display, but for now, these will do. So we're going to see Marvel Legends kind of mixed in throughout the whole room. So this shelf I just set up, kind of mainline Avengers. There's a few I'm missing, but I really wasn't trying to collect a lot of Marvel Legends, and I failed miserably. So mainline Avengers, She-Hulk, one of my favorites of the year. The Silver Centurion Iron Man is one of my favorites. That's why he's displayed there. And then I have my Jim Lee X-Men #1 character set up there with the additions of Cable, Phoenix. But I built the diorama for this and I actually sent it out for charity. I'm really happy that people bid on it. So hopefully the person that has it now is really excited about it. But I did like having the idea of my mainline X-Men next to my mainline Avengers and villains, just in one big display. So I think that's kind of a cool display. I had all of these guys in my Sentinel display, which you saw last year, but I moved some of the characters that didn't get much play there just because I wanted them to have some time in the spotlight with a cool diorama. So we'll see that in a bit. Now we're over to my Marvel Legends Spider-Man display, and it's on my Fire Escape shelf. And I bought this before I started making dioramas because I didn't even know you could make dioramas, but I just wanted to find things that you can buy off the shelf and use for action figures. So I have most of all my Spider-Man rogues on here. So really happy with it. And then every version of Spider-Man I have is pretty much on the shelf. I love Blade kind of fighting off Jack-O-Lantern. That's my favorite version, the kind of 90s goth one. And then Armored Spider-Man, definitely one of my favorite Spider-Mans because that's the only one I had as a kid growing up. But then as the years have gone on, I've gotten different versions of Spider-Man. I've thrown them on here. Black Suit, of course, gotta have him. White Rabbit, I like her, kind of a random character. And that J. Jonah Jameson, pretty pricey right now, so I'm glad I picked that one up. I have my Monster Venom, and then that's the new Spider-Man from the Vulture 2-pack. So pretty cool to have them there. Bombastic Bagman, and then the black and red Daredevil is one of my favorites, so good to have him. And then I have this picture that was a gift to me last year for Christmas. And this is of our 2 dogs, Wanda Maxicorg and Claude Von Corgi, dressed up as Scarlet Witch and Spider-Man. Love that my fiance had that made. Looks really cool. And now we're going to get into some dioramas that I've built. So let me get over here and then we will look at this all together because this is one from a couple years ago and then I just built this one this year. So just starting on the side of this diorama because it really has 3 sides, left, right, and center. And this is a mural I painted. This is a Dazzler nightclub diorama. I love Dazzler. She has a really cool lore, kind of made as a marketing ploy for a record company and for Marvel to kind of market things together. So this is actually based off a mural that's in Georgia. I think it's attached to a record store, but I'm not sure. But this year, we got a lot of cool Dazzler comics. So everything Dazzler I will always buy. I love this kind of mashup they did with Disney characters, Minnie Mouse. But then if you haven't read
Exterminators. I definitely recommend you read it. It's off the wall. It's Jubilee, Dazzler, Boom Boom, X-23 go on this crazy adventure in a vampire world. It's nuts. But then let's look at this disco diorama that I built. This is number 2 of 3 of my favorite dioramas that I've built. I love this scene inside a nightclub. Dazzler's in the back there. I wish we would get an upgrade there. But I love how I designed this. I kind of made the ceiling look like an old nightclub with the disco ball. There's an iPad behind there. I made a little slot for an iPad. And just kind of all the characters that I wanted to see in the nightclub. So Jubilee, Boom Boom, since they were in Exterminators, Rogue and Gambit dancing, Arcade because he has those platforms. And then I have the Beyonder in here just because he's in that disco outfit. Really cool. Claw has some really cool backstory with Dazzler. I'm pretty sure she absorbs all his power and then pretty much shoots him into Galactus. And I think during Secret Wars, then they extract Claw out of Galactus. I don't remember. It's been a while since I read it. But really fun diorama. One of my favorites in here. I like kind of the silhouettes I did on the side. Kind of supposed to emulate her energy burst. I don't know. I thought it was cool. And then this is one that I did this year. This is the Crucifixion of Wolverine with the Reavers. I added Sabretooth and Cyber back there. I wish I had another Skullbuster to use that alternative head, but he's pretty pricey. But getting all these characters on here and then getting that shirtless Wolverine finally in use for what he's meant for. I love what I did with the skulls there. That was a really cool trick I learned. But once I got this, dang, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Once I got him, I knew I wanted to build this diorama. So really happy about that. Pretty Boy, then Lady Deathstrike. Really cool display. Gonna bounce around to a few more of my comic displays. This is X-Force, X-Factor, New Mutants, assorted characters. So I built these stone steps for them so you can really get a good look at all the characters back there. Warlock, definitely one of my favorite Build-A-Figures next to my strong guy, Italian dude representation. Love that. So just a really cool stone steps to get these kind of elevated. And I love that we finally got Wolfsbane because we're one step closer to getting a Feral. And there's space on there for her. And hopefully a Feral and a Rachel Summers would complete this shelf. And I think I can kind of call that one a quits. My X-Men villain shelf. This one I have added a few. I think Goblin Queen, Executioner, and then I sold my old Sabretooth because we finally have a new and improved, larger Sabretooth. I think he's on the Omega Red body. So really exciting to get him. Sauron, one of the greatest Build-A-Figures, I think. I might have to start thinking of a Savage Land display. Get that all set up. And then the last of my comic figures or displays is my Sentinel display. And this is where I kind of put the B-Team X-Men or multiples. So Banshee's up there. Then Storm, Giant X-Men, Storm in the back, Scarlet Witch. And I have him capturing Morph. That's an old Wolverine. It's not my favorite because his claws are all bent. And we did add a lot to this shelf this year. So if I get down to the bottom, you can see kind of what I did. Those newer Sentinels are there. And then blue and yellow Psylocke Gambit, they're down there. New Cable, I love him. Not sure why Deathlock's there. I just thought he looked cool. And then I have these Valorverse Action Force, what's his name, Trigger. He kind of looked like he would be protesting against the mutants, so I put him there. But then also the Hood, I made those protest signs. And in the story that I'm imagining is that these guys were protesting, and then the Sentinel came out of nowhere, and even though they're protesting against mutants, the mutants come and try to get them out of harm's way. That's kind of the story I told myself there. But you got Bishop here. This was a cool one. This was, I wanted to show people how to make a display for DTOF, and I think I did. So along the same lines, I'm going to do one for Galactus. I just need to clear out some extra shelves. So we're going to move on to the movie stuff right now. All right, it's going to be a little hard to go in linear order, so I'm going to try to do this without cutting away too much. Here's my Iron Man, Captain America shelf. So it's kind of Civil War inspired also because you have a few mix of characters on there, like an extra Ant-Man. And it's the left side is Captain America, right side is Iron Man. So I think the last thing I put on the shelf that's new-ish was maybe Happy Hogan or Sharon Carter, but nothing really new on here. One thing that stands out to me is the Bandai Tony Stark. I thought that was cool. And then these two bottom shelves are kind of eclectic, so we'll go to the bottom first. These are all the Love and Thunder and Shang-Chi figures with some 20th Century Fox X-Men. So this is where I learned to stop buying MCU figures at full price. I still like the MCU. It's definitely has its ups and downs, but finally some new Deadpool and Wolverine figures. So to the right of them are the Into the Spider-Verse figures. There's my Stan Lee. And then over here are my Netflix characters. So not sure where they fit in on here. I just wanted them to be front and center. I do love that Wolverine, even though he's never featured with the mask and the sleeves. I just wanted to kind of have him there. Going up, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor shelf. I thought this was a cool display. I think the Guardians was the last full wave of movie Marvel Legends I bought, only because I wanted Cosmo. But I was kind of upset I bought them, but then I saw the movie. It's actually one of my favorite post-Endgame MCU movies. I just thought it was really good. And we did get some cool additions over the years. Odin. And I do love that we've gotten a Raglan. So pretty cool to have him. Then I'll just call this my Ollie's shelf because all of these figures are still on the pegs at Ollie's. And I did buy the Eternals figures and Wakanda Forever. You know, something, I think people give the Eternals figures a lot of crap, but here's what I remember. I remember that was like when these figures leaked, it was still in the middle of COVID. Things were going crazy. And it was like our first hint of something new after we hadn't gotten anything new in a while. So the anticipation was strong, and then the actual movie was a sleeper. And you know, when it comes to Wakanda Forever, I wish they would have recast Chadwick Boseman, but with the circumstances, I think they did a good enough job with Shuri. But again, all these figures, this is my Ollie shelf. Only I did not buy them at Ollie's. I bought them all full price, like a dummy. Then one of my favorite MCU displays is just the first Avengers, kind of mixed in with Age of Ultron display. And some of my prized possessions in there are the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think it's really cool. But then I have the Avengers kind of posed in this, you know, final scene in when they're doing that splash shot in the first movie, Scarlet Witch and her brother right there. So there you go, the Maximoff twins. Not bad. Quicksilver. Why can't I just think of his name? I think the only thing new here is Mark Ruffalo. So it felt like he fit there. So that's why he lives there. And then moving on up is my Avengers Infinity War shelf. 2 new additions, finally. My last room tour, I wanted Outriders. And we have them. So now if we can only get Chitauri for this shelf, I'd be really happy. So it was nice to add them to the shelf. This shelf was too many heroes, not enough bad guys. So I did buy 2 of the Outrider 2-packs. Pretty cool. I'm going to skip over this shelf for a second, go to my other Infinity War shelf, have everything kind of displayed here. This is the scene on Titan. I think that was the name of the planet. And I put Monica Rambeau back there. I didn't really know where she fit. I really haven't bought MCU figures pretty much since Secret Invasion because I kind of gave up on it. And I'm definitely not buying those Brave New World figures. They're trying to package us a Mark Ruffalo Hulk. He's just red, like right there. They basically just gave us that Hulk, painted him red. They have the sculpt for Harrison Ford, but the Indiana Jones series, I don't know why they just couldn't reprint his head bigger. Anyway, here's my Endgame shelf. Only new additions here are the Outriders as well, so it's a little crowded. I'm gonna really need to rework these shelves to kind of spread things out, but it's kind of cool to have the big 3 kind of right there. I do love that Thor. Really cool. I actually watched Love and Thunder today. It's not as bad as I remember it. It's definitely not good, but it's not as bad as I remember. Down here, I have a mixture of Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Ant-Man. Quantumania figures. Why did I buy those? I think like Kang was cool, but the way that these figures were made felt really cheap. And then the Black Widow figures. I like the Black Widow figures. Nothing wrong with them. Gonna see Red Guardian and Thunderbolts soon with Florence Pugh. Final Swing, Spider-Man, and then Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man too. So pretty neat to have those. I'm not gonna cut. I'm just gonna go right over here. And here's my Disney Plus display. Actually, some new additions here. I didn't get the Tracksuit Mafia in until a little bit later this year. So these came out 23. I got them now. I got that Man-Thing, which I had the comic book one, but I'm going to sell him on eBay. And I don't know if Agatha came last year or this year, but she's pretty cool. I like her kind of pearlescent design on her clothing. And then here's my What If display, which I kind of stopped filling this out. I really just wanted the zombies. All these other figures are kind of cool. Like, it's nice to have that, what is it? The Iron Man suit in the back, and then Vision, Ultron Vision, whatever he is, and a Howard the Duck. I wish he was articulated, but that's why I kind of gave up on the shelf. I do like the zombies, though. I probably wouldn't get rid of those. And I think that's it with Marvel Legends down here. And now, this one I had made last year, or when the movie came out. So it was already made last year when I did my room tour. Multiverse of Madness display. So again, gonna stop buying these MCU figures, but this was not ready for my room tour last year, and this is my No Way Home display. So this one I'm pretty excited about. I have villains on there that weren't in the movie, but they're still Spider-Man adjacent, and I'm really excited that we're gonna get that lizard, not reptile, and then Electro. So those were announced, so I can actually fill out the real display. But I kind of like Carnage and Venom up there. Doc Ock, I didn't have him in time for last year, but kind of rounding out the shelf. Mysterio's there. I would have put Vulture here too, but there's just no room to put him. And then I love this glowing effect that I made. When the lights are off, it does look really cool, but you can still see the purple light shine through. I think it came out pretty awesome. So that's an old X-Men playset, that Statue of Liberty. And if you can see there, there's a rock in a case. My fiance's brother worked on the film, and that's a piece of rubble that is actually from the set. So it says on there, you can't really see it, but it says Aunt May's wedding scene. It's because in the scene where she, meets her end, I don't think anyone on set knew that that's what's going to happen. They all thought they were going to Aunt May's wedding scene. So pretty cool Easter egg there. So that's my No Way Home display. I started the year off this year by building that. So that was a really fun one. Going to show off some artwork over here that I skipped before. I have a picture of Matt Cardona signed. It says, Thomas, we're friends too. My brother got that autographed. He wrote that because I think his dog and my dog were actually friends on Instagram. This is some new artwork from my brother, Rock and Roll Turtles, some of my favorite variations of the Turtles in the 90s. Really cool. Looks like Ace Duck is having a little too much fun. And then just some random DC Marvel pictures that I've had over the years. Some more TMNT artwork. Usually seems to be the gift that people get me, but I do like them. I like to kind of make these kind of art galleries in the room. And then I'm going to swing over here, kind of where we were before. And I have my Tommy Oliver homage poster, White and Green Ranger. This Wolverine cover is actually the first comic book I ever bought. I had to hunt down this cover, so I was really excited to find it. Maybe why I love Gambit so much. This was my first introduction to Gambit, and I kind of liked it more than Wolverine, so he's been my favorite Marvel character ever since. Some TMNT artwork that my aunt made, and then this picture was on the other wall last year, but I needed to put those other things. It was kind of too big, but I didn't have the heart to kind of put this away. So that is a cool Batman painting by Tommy Castillo. It's called Frost. I have another one that's actually called Blood Rain that I love. So we're done with the Marvel Legends. We're going to move over here. And here is my Lightning Collection Power Rangers. This one kind of hurts because we're never going to get the figures that I want. If they could just make it like even if it was like a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, give me Bulk, Skull, Squat, Babu, and throw in Ernie there. Give me 5 characters to round out this set, and then I'd be happy. But we did get something new to put here this year from Valiverse, the Legend of the White Dragon 2-pack. Even though they're not Power Rangers, I consider them Power Ranger adjacent. It was Jason David Frank's last role. The movie's yet to come out yet, but hopefully it'll come out soon. It was just nice to pick up those figures and have something to add to this display. You know, I really wish this line didn't stop. There's so many more monsters I would have liked. I do have the TMNT crossover figures. They're pretty cool. They take up a lot of space. I think Finster, probably one of the best Lightning Collection figures we have. But Rangers, I would say, next to Turtles, is one of my favorites. And Tommy Oliver's always been my favorite Green Ranger. So anything with him. That's why I had to get these Legend of the White Dragon figures. Alright, if you're new here, you might not know what my logo is, but I've said it before on other tours. My logo is designed after the neon gang leader of Batman Forever. And I'm showing you this now because what a great year it has been for Batman Forever. So super stoked about this. And man, finally, we've gotten some love for Batman Forever. I've always loved Batman Forever, even though it's probably not the most loved movie. So we'll start over here. Here's my Batman 89 McFarlane Batmobile with Michael Keaton Batman. But if you got the Batman Forever Batmobile, you got Alfred, which is played by the same actor in all 4 movies. I saw this on Instagram and had to do it because I still have my 4 McDonald's Batman Forever glasses. So I got the Riddler there, Robin, Batman, and then there's Two-Face. So I got Two-Face out here. I think he looks fantastic. This Robin's awesome. If you've watched Toy Gaines channel, he actually did repaint it to have more of that metallic look on the green and red. I might try that. The Batmobile is awesome. And then this Jim Carrey, one of my favorites of the year. Definitely a cool figure. So really excited about the Batman Forever love. You know, they didn't build that Bane Build-A-Figure when they released the Batman and Robin figures. I think they released the Build-A-Figure Nightmare Bat for these, which I sold immediately. I thought that was dumb. That was their chance to either give us Bane, and I know they never would, but I would love the Neon Gang Leader. Down here we have the Plunderlings. If you're not familiar with these, they are an independent toy company called Lone Coconut, and they have this series of figures of Plunderlings, Plunderlongs, and Plunderstrongs. So the Plunderstrongs are those big guys in the back. The Plunderlongs are these tall, lanky guys. And the Plunderlings are like these probably mid-level size figures. And then you do get some hatchlings, which are kind of like babies. They come in all different colors. It's pretty much the same sculpt for most of them. Some of them have variation. It's just a fun line. They come with all these different accessories. You know, they're kind of pirate-esque themed, steampunk, so they come with a lot of fun stuff. And they're just really cool. I have my Fortnite shark there. And that cannon came with Man Cake, but I think it looks better with these Plunderlings, so I like to keep them there. I have a few more on the way, so I'm going to have to make more room. But I just think they're a really fun line. Check them out. A lot of them go on discount on Big Bad Toy Store, so hopefully that's not a bad sign. But if you do want to get these for cheap, they're even starting to sell. I think they have some deal with comic book stores now, so you might even just be able to pick these up at your local comic store because they're starting to kind of branch out and give them some inventory, which is pretty cool. So Plunderlings, really cool toy line. Okay, here is my Action Force, G.I. Joe, and Street Fighter shelf. Last year, all of these toy lines fit on one shelf. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure what happened between now and then, but I definitely got more into G.I. Joe and Action Force and Street Fighter this year than probably most other lines. So let's start at the bottom.
I did pick up the Action Force Vanguard. I think this is an awesome piece. And then I did pick up the Vamp, so these two complement each other really well. You got the driver inside. A lot of people didn't like the driver. I did. My only gripe was I wish he was the color of the type of Vanguard it came with. Raptor, he's kind of doing an aerial attack on the Vanguard. Pretty cool. And then I have a mixture of Joes and Action Force characters here. I put all the G.I. Joes and the fatigues. I put them with the Vamp. Clutch is driving. I love his face sculpt, but I love the way that the helmet looks. Then I have the was that the Elite Patreon, or I forgot the name of that character, the black and red one, Iron Grenadier, Shockwave, and Heavy Metal, one of my favorite characters or figures growing up as a kid. So pretty cool. Then up here, it's a mixture of Street Fighter, Cobra, and then some Joes or Heroes. It's still mixed with a little bit of Action Force. So I put my Street Fighter on my G.I. Joe shelf because I had the Street Fighter G.I. Joes as a kid. I'm pretty much trying to get all the ones I had with a few extras. So like I didn't have Cammy or DJ, but I did want them anyway. Guile was one of my favorites. I think this M. Bison is so cool. Wired Cape. And then last year we got Ken, Ryu, and Chun-Li. Awesome. Did get a new Cobra Commander, Big Boa, and then do have Once a Man Cobra Commander. Storm Shadow version 2. I would say a lot of conservative G.I. Joe fans of the original line do not like version 2. I love version 2. This one is the one I played with as a kid. Oddly enough, I would play with this version of the figure with a bat cycle, and for some reason I gave him a sword from the Peter Pan hook line. I don't know, I had a weird imagination. Serpentor, didn't have him last year. Picked him up at a con for probably way too much money, but couldn't pass it up. And then got some new additions here. Doc, definitely one of my favorites of the year, and got that cool G.I. Joe Mobile Command Center box. Some Action Force in the back. Tony from Analog Toys. Dusty, even though I have two Dusties. That's the Dusty I wanted, but I bought that one first, so now I have two. And then Tunnel Rat, really cool. Gemini from Action Force. Nunchuck, hope we get some more Ninja Force. That Eclipse Warpath was one of my favorites of last year. And there we go. Moving up. I think everything on here is mostly new. A few ones from last year, but I have the snow-based diorama I made. I bought the Steel Brigade Snow Troopers when I went to Terrificon. I got to meet Bobby and Laser Pants there, so I have them paired with Snow Job, Alpine, Timbers back there. Just really cool. I have the Fortnite boat, and a new addition here. Chuckles was my #1 figure of the year last year. I love the Hawaiian Magnum PI look. I also got Condor in the Hawaiian shirt at Terrificon, and I think they look great together. They really do. Like kind of that Miami 5-0 look. I thought it looks really cool. Quick Kick, Sergeant Slaughter. And then this is kind of a highlight of my display, I think. So you have the Techno Viper, and then I have my pink Steel Brigade female troopers from Action Force. I just think these look good together. The pink and the purple, really cool. These pink troopers were for a good cause. Some of the proceeds went to a breast cancer foundation, so I thought that was really awesome. But, you know, there's collectors that will not collect G.I. Joe Classified, and there's collectors that won't collect Valiverse. And I say, well, why not both? Because they do complement each other, and I think, like, just look at all the color there. That's just fun. So don't limit yourselves. I think these go really well together. They look great, and then you have so many display options. I got Shipwreck over there. He's driving that Fortnite boat. Might repaint that someday. And then probably the highlight of this scene, I guess, is I bought that B-Slab last year. I saw it was one of the hottest kids' toys, so I wanted to pick that up. I have kind of a scene going on here. It's like your Dreadnoughts
mixture of Gijoe Classified and Valaverse figures, and then some more Valaverse and Gijoe Classified heroes. And they're attacking this lab. At least this is the story. I made up some Jurassic Park figures on the side. They're attacking this lab to get this specimen, this beast. And then these guards kind of have to fight off both factions. So that's just kind of the story I made in my head. But the Elite Patronians, I'm saying that wrong. Anyways, I got those at Terrificon. They're great figures, but I did have a lot of problems with them. So those are Action Force figures as well. This Bone Collector, another Action Force one. That one's fantastic with Pandora. They just look so good with your Dreadnoughts. Nagahide there, really cool addition. Road Pig with his Pitbull. And then Colonel Siege, Starduster, Killswitch, CoverGirl. And then my favorite figures of the year, the Valaverse Action Force Swarm Tracers. These things are awesome. They glow in the dark. Really cool. When I went to Terrificon, I got that poker chip. I bought one and I used it to spin the wheel, but then I didn't win. But then I just bought one to keep. I also have my selfie series there, which actually isn't bad. It does look like me. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, these Swarm Tracers, they're really cool. If you haven't seen them, these glow in the dark really well. Definitely recommend you pick these up. But yeah, this shelf exploded from one shelf to now 4 giant shelves. So really into the G.I. Joe Classified line, really into the Action Force stuff. So probably more so than Marvel Legends now. They're just really good together. And I'm sure once that Street Fighter line continues to grow, I'm going to need to find more space for everything here. All right, now we are going to end with all the turtle stuff. And there's a lot. So there's a lot of turtle stuff, so I figure we'll end on this wall because this whole wall is turtles. So these NECA TMNT figures, if they're, if anyone ever asks, if you had to grab one thing in this room, if anything happened, what figures would you grab? I would grab these 90s NECA TMNT figures. They're hands down, these are the first things I'm grabbing just to make sure that I can salvage them. But did have some new additions to add to this shelf, which was really cool. I'll go over the shelf first. So kind of have things set up in scenes. Encounter with Casey and Raph, the Shadow Ninjas, then kind of the farm characters there with Danny. Got some extra foot soldiers, and then the fight on the rooftop. Splinter over here, baby turtles. So new additions. We have a Kevin Eastman Garbage Man, which if you didn't know he was in the film, he's all the way in the background. It's really hard to see him. So I think he kind of looks like Weird Al, but still, just like I wanted to have a Stan Lee figure, having a Kevin Eastman figure is pretty cool. I almost bought that Todd McFarlane figure, so it would have been cool to have like all the comic artists next to each other, but then Stan Lee would have been terribly out of scale. And finally, Tatsu. This one was much anticipated, so I'm really glad that we finally got this guy. So just a really cool character. The actor finally gave his likeness rights, maybe for charity. I think he said that NECA could do it as long as they donate some of the money to charity. I could be wrong about that, but really cool. So the only 2 characters I would love to see, and then I can call this shelf complete. I want to see the Domino's Pizza guy, and I want to see Sam Rockwell's character, and all he needs to come with is 2 packs of cigarettes, 2 cartons of cigarettes, because he's the guy that's like, do you want regular or menthol? And I think that'd be really cool. After that, I don't know what else you can make on this shelf. I have my Secret of the Ooze shelf, which I'm probably going to have to make more room for. I do have the purple Shredder. He's just not out. I do have the Super Shredder out. But I did buy that throne for some reason. It's a cool Easter egg. I think it was something that was meant to be in the movie, but you never saw it. But I do love the different head sculpts for the turtles here. Last year, we got 2 different versions of Kino, one on the bike, and then one in his fighting gear. And then I think 2 new additions to the shelf is the Professor. So I thought that was really cool. They gave us 2 options in the kind of field outfit and then his scientist outfit. Really cool. They did an amazing job with that face sculpt. Toko and Reza are probably some of the best figures in my collection. I think they're amazing. And then you got the baby versions right over here. Moving on down. Turtles 3, Turtles in Time. I got these last year. They were on my favorites list. And then this is kind of a shelf of just random Turtles lore. Got to find a better place for these. But the sketch Turtles, can't believe we got those. Definitely some of my favorites. Really cool. On my TMNT wishlist last year was a TMNT Transformer that turns into the Party Wagon. I got my wish, only this was my first Transformer. And I don't know if I'm an idiot or what, but it took me forever to learn how to transform it. So, I don't know. I'm sure Transformers fans will make fun of me for that. But I did get the 4 brothers in the Motu line, Turtles of Grayskull. You can't see Mikey back there. I should have probably arranged the Transformer in the back. I just wanted the 4 brothers. I didn't go crazy with that line. So this is kind of a mixture of just different periods of Turtles. Eventually, I'm probably just going to have like the Turtles throughout the years on a different shelf. And then here, this is a line that I kind of soured on. I don't like that they started releasing Turtles again as different characters when we could have gotten like a Shredder or a Foot Soldier or whatever. So I stopped pretty much at these characters. These are all great figures. Like, I love them. Don't get me wrong. But probably a line I didn't need to collect that I got. But the ones I do have, I do love. So got Monster Raph and Mummy Mikey back there. Van Helsing Splinter. Casey Jones, Phantom of the Opera. Bride of Frankenstein April. Invisible Donnie, my favorite. And then Hunchback Leo. So really cool. I didn't get the Sea Creature Leo or Wolfman Raph just because I don't want duplicates of the same characters I already have. So this is all kind of the movie stuff and adjacent. So we're going to move over to the Toon stuff now. All right, so here's my NECA TMNT Toon display. And this is one of my favorite displays because 1, this is what got me into diorama building. And 2, they've just gone so deep with the line. I love it. I have my TMNT bedsheet curtains there. As you can see, I'm a big fan of those. But, you know, this line continues to grow. This year was a little slow. We got a lot of characters we already had, just in different outfits. But I still think we have some great figures coming this year. So let's start at the very top. I have this NECA Street Scene. This is the cartoon one. I had the like a generic one, but I gave that over to Nostalgia Unboxed. He's been making all those cool inserts. I do want to get one for the top and bottom floor so I can do something on the inside, but I'll start at the top. I think the artist of this cover is Ozzy Fernandez. Really cool artwork. I think it was for the 30th anniversary IDW comics. Really cool. And then let's start with the figures. So you have the superheroes up there. I kind of put Bugman, and I already forgot that guy's name. But then I have all the street gang here, and they're fighting Casey Jones and Zach. Really cool. Can't believe we got Big Red a couple years ago. These lights, there's a artist on Etsy that sells these, and he sends you the bulbs. You just take out one of the bricks and you put those street lamps in. Pretty cool. And then I think pretty much everything here is the same as last year. Punk Frogs, Dirk Savage, Tokon Razor, Rex, Crooked Ninja Turtle Gang. Then I think the only thing new here is Evil Rex, which is pretty much just that figure done a different paint job. So pretty cool. Wish we gotten more new characters, but this year they did announce some cool new ones. So I'm pretty excited for that. Moving on down. All right, so this one is pretty special to me. I didn't get the NECA dioramas because I build my own. And this one was the first diorama I ever built, and it's not that good. Since then, I've built 2 NECA TMNT layers for people that have come out way better. I may redo this, but this one was the first one I made, so it'll be kind of hard to get rid of it. But I have Splinter's Dojo here with Usagi and unmutated Splinter there. Turtles in here eating pizza, Metalhead, Venus, a little pizza monster coming out of the pizza. Pretty neat. And then below, I just made like a generic sewer scene. And this I just wanted to do to kind of fill it out with those mutants. We have most of the characters from I forgot the name of the episode. It's the one with Tempestra, but to kind of mix all, I think it was called The Night of the Mutants. I could be wrong about that. Or The Night of the Rogues, whatever. But this was just a great display to kind of spread out these figures. I do have some Super 7 on here that scratch. I don't think NECA would ever make those. Disguise Raph and Sewer Surf and Mike. So a newer, not character, but figure we got was Samurai Usagi. This one I did like, just because it looked like the one we had as a kid. And Mondo, one of my favorites as well. I think nothing new down here as well. This is my Technodrome diorama. I bet if I went to redo this one now, I'd probably do it a little differently. I based the colors off of the old Mini Mutants playset, so it's not screen accurate, but it was just fun to work on. This was my second diorama that I worked on. So I have all the Mousers, Baxter Stockman, Shredder. I think we're getting a re-release of him. Hopefully, we will be getting that giant Krang, because I have a spot just for him. And then this area is supposed to be like outside of the Technodrome. So I don't know why Krang would be outside. He should probably be on the other side. I just don't like having two of the same characters on the same display, I guess. That's why I have kind of the robot Bebop and Rocksteady here. And then maybe the regular Bebop and Rocksteady were sent outside. I don't know why. And then below is my Dimension X diorama. So I got the Triceratons, Anthrax, Neutrinos. Probably my favorite NECA TMNT figure is Ground Chuck. And then you have Dirtbag. And then you do have the Rock guys. Fucking dang, what are their names? I totally forgot. Anyway, Trag and Granitor. And then the Soldier. So pretty cool. Moving on over. Here is probably the most eye-catching thing in my room. And that is my Channel 6 news display. So this one is my pride and joy. I said there was three main projects that are my favorite. Toys R Us, Dazzler, and then the Channel 6. So really, one of my favorite dioramas. When I first built this and I posted a picture in the TMNT Party Wagon, there was someone on there that said this thing would fall apart within a year. Well, it's been 2 years. This thing's still in pretty good shape. So, hot of that guy. So starting over here, I have my weird pizza diorama. It's pretty cool. I did that with black light paint. So with the blue light, it kind of shines a little differently. And then here are some new characters we got this year. The one that came, that's Samurai Usagi, was the adventure astronaut Donatello, and then Bebop and Rocksteady and their Hawaiian shirts. Which, these were cool, but again, it's just we have so many variants of Bebop and I think right now I have 4 different variants of Bebop and Rocksteady. I think that's enough. Let's get some new characters on the shelf. Another Slash. I didn't really think we needed an update of Slash. I think this one was just fine. So it's kind of weird. I mean, cool. I'm the idiot that bought him. So, I mean, lesson learned. And then the Turtle Van, really cool. You know, I think also since we've gotten a lot of different versions of Turtles, I put the oldest versions of the Turtles in here because I think the ones that have come out since are way better. Don't know if you can see April in there, but she's driving like in the intro of the cartoon. And then here I have the Baby Turtles. That's a teeny tiny playset, that Fresh Farmers Market. I thought it looked cool there. And then we do have the Punk Turtles. So again, I bought like 9 different turtles this year, so I really hope this year we get more characters. I know they've already released at least 4 new characters. I don't know if we're getting the Giant Krang this year. Hopefully we do. But these were cool because I don't think they've been done before. And they came with some really cool accessories, so can't complain there. And then up top here is my rooftop battle scene. So we did get a new Foot Soldier, the split in half one. Thought that was really cool with businessman Casey Jones. Then I have my Channel 6 news team, Ace Duck, and then these are the Pizza Club Turtles. So really cool. So the cool thing about this diorama, if you're pretty new to the channel, I did do a whole series on this where I built this thing from the first floor up. And I pretty much would build the first floor, do the interior, and then when I got all the way to the top, then I painted the exterior. So I always keep it displayed closed, but there is an inside, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Let me get all these panels off, and I can show you what's going on the inside. So I built this in a way where you could just kind of take all these panels off, and then each floor will have its own scene. So I did the lobby, which I'm pretty excited about. I've done kind of like office space. So there's Irma's reception area, Burns's office, pretty cool. And then we got all these cool accessories, so I really want to use them to the best of my abilities. Then we have a separate filming room. This is from the episode with Slash, and he turns Burns and Vern into turtles. And then we have April's dressing room, where she turns into the Catwoman of Channel 6. And of course, at the top, you have the newsroom. So I don't have all the characters in there, but this was a pretty fun display. April would normally sit back there. And we got all these cool accessories with the Channel 6 4-pack. So I wanted to have a place for these cameras, the lighting. There's even little outlets where you can plug those things in. So pretty cool. And then of course up top, you have the rooftop scene. We got that antenna with the NECA street scene. So I really wanted to have a place to kind of put that, because that's where that belongs anyway. So all the Pizza Club turtles, and they're all battling. Normally those characters would be inside the Channel 6 News building, but I have them up there. So yeah, go check out that series if you haven't checked it out yet. Pretty cool.
And folks, if you made it this far, then you've made it to the end. So again, I just want to say thank you. More to come this year. What to expect. I'm going to try to get more consistent with unboxings, but you can at least expect one diorama project a month, and then also one live stream a month. So really hoping to do that more often, get some more guests on the show, and have some fun toy conversations about old and new stuff as well. So look forward to that. Hope you all have a happy new year, and we'll catch you next time.